What is the definition of a cinephile? Google Translate tells us it is a person who is fond of motion pictures, while Wikipedia describes it as a passionate interest in films, film theory, and film criticism. But I'll go with the Urban Dictionary definition that defines a cinephile as someone who thoroughly likes movies and many times will go out of their way to quote and tell their friends about movies. So, in the first episode of C for Cinephile, I will pick a movie about a cinephile. The Purple Rose of Cairo, a classic comedy movie from 1985 that written and directed by well-known American artist Woody Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, or however you prefer to be addressed, my name is Brian and I'm going to ask you to stay with me in the upcoming minutes.
Hit it, boys!
If not all of us, then many of us have that one movie or a few movies that we can watch over and over again without ever getting tired of them. This is exactly what happens to Cecilia, the main character of The Purple Rose of Cairo, who is a young waitress in New Jersey during the Great Depression in the 1930s. Cecilia lives with her bully husband, Monk, who recently lost his job due to the effects of the Depression, which, as Cecilia once said, left most of the country poor and jobless. In the midst of those difficulties, the town's movie theater is her only refuge. Cecilia goes there frequently, trying to forget her troubles by imagining herself as one of the fortunate characters in the films. She often thinks about their happiness and also chats about them with her sister. However, one day, the theater starts showing a new movie called The Purple Rose of Cairo, and it is no surprise that Cecilia becomes totally hooked on the film and falls head over heels for one of the male characters, Tom Baxter.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry. Tom Baxter, explorer, adventurer. I'm doing a little archaeological work.
A real-life explorer.
I've come in search of the Purple Rose of Cairo. It's an old legend that's fascinated me for years. A pharaoh had a rose painted purple for his queen, and now the story says purple roses grow wild at her tomb.
How romantic.
And you?
We're going back to New York tomorrow. It's been a refreshing 2 weeks.
Say we should bring him back to New York to meet the Countess. She loves anything in a fifth house.
One night, after finding Monk and his lover in her bedroom and also getting canned by her boss, Cecilia feels utterly abandoned, and then she heads to the theater to watch The Purple Rose of Cairo one more time. But this time, something strange happens. Tom Baxter sees her, starts chatting with her, and suddenly leaves the screen, escaping with Cecilia hand in hand. After Tom escapes with Cecilia, everything turns upside down, and everyone, including movie's characters, freaks out. Why? Because this kind of incident is completely unheard of. The theater manager is the first to react. He calls up the producer and explains what's going down. The studio is totally baffled. None of its pros have ever seen anything like this before, and there is no legal record for an actor diking the screen and running off with an audience member. But, as studio's lawyer put it, just because it's never happened before doesn't mean it can't happen for the first time.
Tom was kind of a change of pace for me. He was for my earlier roles. I played Tom Baxter with a kind of a poetic, idealistic quality that Lindbergh was a loner. He was just self-reliant. I'd have to work it out with my dialogue coach. He's a genius.
Bill, can I see you for a minute alone, please? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, right over here.
What's up?
Tom Baxter's come down off the screen and he's running around New Jersey.
What are you talking
I
about?
just spoke to Raoul Hirsch. Nobody knows how it happened, but he's done it.
How could he do that? It's not physically possible.
In New Jersey, anything can happen.
But I created the character.
That's my point. As your agent, I would hate to see anything happen to your career now that it's starting to move.
Like what?
Who knows? There's a double of you on the loose. What's he up to? Is he robbing banks?
The Purple Rose of Cairo is a love story where Cecilia and Tom fall for each other. But like any good love story, there has to be a romantic rival, and that's where the other character comes into play in the movie. Gil Shepard, the actor who portrays Tom Baxter in real life. Gil tries to carve out a place for himself in Cecilia's heart with the hope of convincing her to permit Tom to return to the movie and for the chaos to settle down. So, as a result of his intentions, Gil takes her out and gives her hope for the future they could build together. Meanwhile, Cecilia continues to see Tom, dating him in two parallel dimensions, one in real life and one within the movie's universe. But they face challenges in both worlds. In the real world, they are strapped for cash, while in the movie's cosmos they lack physical resources. In one especially hilarious scene, as they sit in a fancy restaurant, enjoying drinks and a live performance, Cecilia suddenly realizes that the champagne is not real, but they're actually sipping on ginger ale. After all these adventures, Cecilia found herself at a fork in the road, torn between Tom and Gil. On one hand, she had a great romantic experience with Tom that she had always dreamed of, and on the other hand, Gil represented a realistic relationship to her, where she could rely on him and build a future with him in Hollywood, which is the dream of millions of people like her who are suffering from poverty and joblessness. This situation put Tom and Gil against each other, and both of them try to convince Cecilia that he is the most reliable person she could have ever found. But which one should she pick? A naive guy who suddenly jumped off the screen and knows nothing about the real world, or a good-looking Hollywood playboy who knows the reality and its twisted, complicated tricks more than her? Let's start wrapping up this episode and not spoil the movie for those who may not have had a chance to watch it yet. From this point on, it won't be a bad question to ask. What does the Purple Rose of Cairo have to offer after all these years have passed? First and foremost, every movie should be entertaining, and this one definitely fits the bill. The Purple Rose of Cairo, like most of Woody Allen's films, has a unique sense of humor, finding comedy in situations or subjects that most people consider off-limits. Moreover, the film also offers an opportunity to take a quick look into the daily life of the Great Depression era and find out some similarities between our time and that period. While we are not currently experiencing the exact hardships of the Great Depression, there are undeniable signs that suggest we may be heading toward a similarity-challenging period, especially for working class that already lost many things in the last few years. In addition to its entertainment value and its reflection on the Great Depression era, The Purple Rose of Cairo also delves into deeper themes such as escapism, reality versus fantasy, and the choices we make in our life. The movie explores the idea of finding happiness, love, and purpose in a world that is unpredictable and often harsh. This movie challenges the audience to question whether it is better to escape into a fantasy world or face the harsh realities of life. The Purple Rose of Cairo remains a timeless classic that continues to resonate with audiences, reminding us of the magic of cinema and the universal desire for love and connection. So, if you haven't seen it yet, be sure to add it to your watch list. You can have my word. You won't be disappointed. Thank you for joining me in this episode of C for Cinephile. Stay tuned for more movie discussions and reviews. Until next time, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next episodes.
I'm Alabama bound. There'll be no heebie-jeebies hanging round. Just gave the meanest ticket man on earth all I'm worth to put my tootsies in an upper berth. Just hear that choo-choo sound. Woo-hoo! I know that soon we're gonna cover ground. And then I'll holler 'cause the world will know. Here I go. I'm Alabama bound. Whoa. I'm Alabama bound.